Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advanced, and this is one of the fiercest attacking games of the magician Divya Deshmukh you'll ever see. This is a game from round 5 of Tata Steel Rapid and Blitz that happened in 2023, and you're absolutely going to adore this game, so I'm not going to keep you waiting for long. So without further ado, let's start for this game. Hey, Divya is playing against Savitha Shri, and yeah, this game is going to be an epic one. So let's see how this starts. Hey, Savitha is with the white pieces, she goes for e4, and Divya goes for c6, she goes for the Caro-Kann defense. We have d4, d5, and just d captures. We go into the Tartakover variation, and here just knight captures, knight to f6, knight caps on f6, and e captures. So definitely pawn structure could be ruined a little bit, but you can just develop the bishop, castle early on, and your pieces would be very fine. And if you're looking for an aggressive variation, this is it. Here just c3, we have bishop to d6 and bishop to d3, just castles, and now queen to c2. So after bishop to d6, hey, bishop to d3 and castles was played, and in this position you could go for a lot of moves. You could go for this knight to e2, just not allowing this rook check to come in, and here after g6, most likely what's going to happen is queen to c2, king to g7, and after bishop to e3, you just play a5. You have to create counterplay somehow, and you have to castle here, and you have to think about carefully, because you could castle queenside here, which looks like a very fine move, because here you have to understand that you're just pushing, and you already have the bishop pair, I mean very nicely aligned here, so you have to be a little bit careful here with black, because the bishop pair is already very nicely placed. You can just play all of these moves, and somewhere along the line you're going to have to realize that that attack is going to happen very fast, and if you're just carefully playing towards the queen side, pushing those pawns all the way, it could just get a little bit ugly. So here if you decide to castle kingside, the thing is that after knight to a6, a3, rook to e8, you just play c4, knight to c7, and after rook f to e1, just p5, and most likely this game would still have a lot of play. It could be anyone's game, but still, I mean, queenside castle looks a bit aggressive, whereas kingside castle looks like it's a bit passive. So it depends on your playing style. And here after castles we have queen to c2, but just rook to e8 check, knight to e2, and h5. And h5 is has always been a Divya move. I mean, whenever she wants to attack, whenever she wants to actually get a win, she always includes this in her prep, includes this in her play, and if it doesn't ruin the position, she is definitely going to play that. And here in this position, just bishop to e3 was played, not allowing any tactics to exist over this line. And here just knight to d7, we have a queenside castle now, and saying that if you want to attack here, I'm not going to be castling kingside here ever again. It just b5, but now just comes d5 and c5 immediately, even sacrificing the pawn here on the b file, saying that you want to capture that pawn. You just go right ahead, because if you go for bishop captures, which was played in the game, the thing is that rook to b8 is coming, and I'm going to be definitely enjoying this b file. But you could also go for a very nice move in this position, which is a very dubious move, which is rook to e7. The thing is that after c4, now you just play knight to e5, you centralize the knight, rook can join the party, you can double up here, and if you go for knight to g3, now I just go a6, pushing the bishop back, bishop moves, now knight to g4, and you can see that I'm playing on both sides of the board, which is not principal idea, but imagine that you're playing with the white pieces, and I'm pressing you with the black pieces on both sides of the board. That is definitely not a kind picture in your head, and you have to understand that you're just getting pressed by the black pieces for no reason at all, with just one move that you played, that just capturing of that pawn, and I'm getting a lot of counterplay. And somewhere along the line, whenever you make even the slightest of the mistake, I'm just going to be like crushing you in the entire position. You can see that already the ideas can exist over this line. Queen can join the party. It's just a very easy development game, and sometimes all you need is a little bit of an easy development where you can just absolutely crush your opponent. But after bishop caps on h5, here rook to b8 was played immediately. This is the best move in this position, and here just bishop to a4. And now you could go for a move like rook to e7, again going for the same line, knight to g3. Now here knight to e5, same ideas, knight captures on h5. This move seems so natural. I mean, why cannot I just grab the pawn? Like, why cannot I just be like Capablanca? Well, you cannot be Capablanca, because, well, you can try, but you're gonna fail, because hey, knight caps on h5. But now just comes this beautiful move in this position, which not that easy to spot. So I'm gonna ask you to pause the video and try and find out the only winning move in this position that black has. So just have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move, and the move is c4, and c4 is a beautiful move. In a sense that here in this position, what do you even do? The thing is that you cannot move the bishop back. This kind of ideas are existing in the position. Yes, you could always come back, but after trading, I don't even have to trade. I mean, once the queen gets inside your position is absolutely going to crumble. Your king side becomes weak. This knight is on the edge of the board, basically out of the game. This knight is jumping in. I mean, this is not a position you want to have when you're playing with the white pieces. And if you play b4, trying to go en passant, then trying to just create some chances in this position, here just a5. And now position just completely crumbles, because here a3, if you go in this knight to d3 check, rook captures on d3, you're going to have to sacrifice the exchange, and c captures. And even if you don't go for this, you have to go for a very beautiful line, because c captures is a draw. Unfortunately, by the Indian standards, hey, that is a draw. But hey, if you go for a move like bishop to f5, because now you cannot move the rook because rook is pinned, now you go for rook h to d1, but there is a captures on b4, and after c captures, you have this very nice c captures on d3. It opens up this as well, queen to c3, and after this bishop to g6. Now you go for knight to f4, thinking that you have something, but just bishop to e5 attacking the queen. Queen moves forward, and queen cannot be trapped because bishop can always come in the way. But hey, just bishop to d6, queen to c3, rook to c8, and bishop to c6 is gonna have to be played. But after bishop to e5, wherever the queen moves, you have to understand, just bishop caps on f4, bishop captures, and rook is jumping in next, and your position is absolutely about to explode. And with the rooks here and the second rook jumping in, queen can get into the game wherever she pleases, and you can see that this bishop is lying already here. So your king is, it's not about safety even. I mean, you're just getting absolutely obliterated here. But after bishop to a4, none of these complications, because no sane person would go for the knight, go for the pawn with the knight here in this position, because all of these pieces are already eyeing this. So you would want to actually just put safeguard your kings against all of those threats. Here rook to e5 was played, but here knight to f4, knight to b6, and here just bishop to b5, c4 now. Again, that c4 move is an absolute beauty in this position, and here bishop to c6. Now just closing in everything, but bishop to c6 unfortunately is a blunder. Bishop to f5 was played immediately by Divya, and now there is nothing you can do. Where do you move the queen? Hey, queen to d2 was played, but there is a beautiful move in this position that actually just crumbles the position of white pieces right here, right now, and that move is as simple as just queen to c8. And once you see it, it makes all sense, because obviously someone is telling you all the moves, but still, it's just such a calm, peaceful move that crushes your position absolutely. Because you could play a calm move like a3 in this position, but the thing is that queen is jumping in next, and that captures is occurring, so you cannot do anything in this position. And if you decide to stop that with a move like bishop to b5, then just bishop to h7, just moving the bishop back, and nothing here. You're just controlling this entire diagonal, and once the queen gets inside the position, you're just gonna get checkmate. And here in this position, if you go for a move like bishop captures, rook captures, then you have to understand there is no hope in this position. If you go for bishop to a4, rook to a6, let's say you move the bishop all the way back, either straight bishop captures, and once you go for this queen captures, just rook captures on a2. And although I'm not controlling this triangle anymore, but the queen is getting in, rook is already eyeing this. I mean, you're not surviving this game no matter what you do. Here just queen to d2 was played, but just rook, knight to c8 back, and here in this position just g4 was tried, but g4 just completely blunders the game, because I know your position was obviously worse right from there, but right from the move that you played here with the bishop, that was here. You could have gone rook to d2 in this position. You can also go on rook to d4 in this position. You could have also played a move like bishop to d4. That would have been absolutely fine as well. I mean, all you want is the control over the center squares, and that's right about it. But most likely here in this position, this move just completely blundered the game, and now you're gonna have to pay the price. So that's why g4, saying that if I'm able to just get the rooks there and all of those, my bishop is still eyeing that, maybe I'll be able to create some counter chances, but it's just very difficult, because now even move as simple as just h captures on g4 just does the job for Divya. H captures was played, but now just comes a4. But now in this position, you could go all out. You could go this bishop to a3, and the thing is that you cannot capture. If you capture, this is checkmate, and that's the problem in this position. And if you go for bishop to b5, trying to block this, and now saying that your bishop is hanging, where are you going to move the bishop? Well, I'm just going to be saying there is no way I'm moving the bishop. I'm going in with the queen to a5. And if you go for b captures on a3, queen captures on a4, you still cannot capture, because this is still checkmate. And if you go for queen to b2 in this position, well, then just comes this rook captures on b5. And if you go queen to a2, then rook to b3, and then there is nothing you can do aside from running away from your own camp where you castled and thought you would be safe. If you go king to d2, hey, just rook captures on a3. Queen has no more squares. All of these 4 squares are covered. You're gonna have to part ways with your queen. If you go queen to b2, then this comes rook to a2, and yes, you're gonna have to captures. And here in this position, I have a queen for the 2 rooks. For these 2 pieces, I'm up the exchange. I also have another piece, and your position is just absolutely crumbling no matter what you do. I'm +9, and yeah, there is no way you're surviving this. So after a4, all of this was possible, but Divya was very low on the clock. In this position, she goes for a move like a6, but just b4 was played, but now just comes c caps on b3 en passant. Hey, just king to b2, but now just knight to b6. Bishop captures, queen captures, knight to d3 attacking the rook, but just bishop captures. No matter what you do, your position is still very fine, because the thing is that king is going to be absolutely weak. Rook is just not even allowing the king to pass over, maybe towards safety, and the thing is that there is nothing you can do. Here just queen caps on d3, but just queen captures on f2 was played with a check. Here rook to d2 blocking, but just rook queen goes back, and now here rook rook to d1. You have to just bring all your pieces in to save your own king, and yeah, that's never a good sign. Here just rook to e3 was played, but now just queen to d4, queen captures, rook captures. Even with the rooks being there, it's still a completely winning position. Here bishop to b4 was played, attacking the rook. Rook a to d1, bishop to c3 check, king moves, and now just bishop captures. So rook captures. So you're up the exchange, completely winning. b2, few more moves were played. Here rook captures, and king captures. And here in this position, king to f8, d6, rook to d3, and here just d5 was played, but rook to h3 was played. It was on this move, on just move 36, that Sri Savitha resigned the game, and Divya Deshmukh, the magician, got this spectacular victory, playing a really aggressive attacking game. She completely pushed right from the opening. She played a very aggressive line, the Tartakover variation of Caro-Kann, and from that there she was able to get a little bit of an advantage. She was able to capitalize on it and continued attacking, continued to put pressure where her opponent eventually just collapsed. And yeah, this just doesn't happen all the time, because you have to understand that it's all about experience, because they know exactly when to put pressure and when to just completely capitalize on that advantage, and that's why they are able to have these attacking masterpieces that they create all the time. And Divya, at just 17 years of age, showing absolute potential that she can attack, she can defend against the world champion and hold her to a draw. She has beaten now Harika, she has beaten Nino Batsiashvili, she has beaten even the legend Irina Krush, she has beaten now Sri Savitha, and that's 4 in a row for her. And out of the five games she has played, she has a score of 4.5 against these absolute legends. So yeah, this is definitely a dream tournament for her, showing to her and showing to the rest of the world that she's here to stay. She is here to absolutely crush her opponents, and she is not just here as a young seed here, trying to just have some learning experience. Well, if she gets the chances, she's definitely coming after you, and she's showing the world that I'm not just a kid, I'm a prodigy, I'm a genius one at that. And yeah, I'm gonna be somewhere along the line, I'm just gonna be go there, and yeah, this is definitely a world chess champion in the making. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with such amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be able to see you guys very, very soon. Thank you very, very much for watching.